Welcome along. Today we're doing a deep dive into, well, a really foundational text, the first chapter of the book of Genesis.
That's right.
Our source is simply that chapter itself.
Uh-huh.
And our mission, really, is to understand the sequence of creation it lays out. Those key events described right there at the beginning.
Absolutely. It's a short chapter, but it carries immense weight culturally, historically, a narrative that people have pondered for millennia. So yeah, let's dig in.
Okay, let's start right at the start then. Verse 2, it sort of sets the stage before things really kick off. What does it tell us about how things were initially?
Well, it paints this picture of the earth as formless and empty.
Formless and empty.
Yeah, and darkness is over the surface of the deep. But interestingly, it also mentions the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters.
Hovering over the water. So a sense of potential maybe, but nothing quite formed. Water seems key there.
Exactly. Water's dominant, darkness is there, but also this divine presence already active in some way.
All right. And from that state, that sort of primordial soup, what's the very first act of creation?
The first big act, verse 3, is light. God speaks. Let there be light.
Just speaks it into existence.
Instantly it says, there was light. And what's really fascinating, as you think about it, is this light appears before the sun and moon are created later on day 4.
Yeah, I noticed that. What's the thinking there? Is it a different kind of light?
Well, interpretations vary, of course. Some suggest this first light might be more like divine illumination or order itself, sort of preceding the physical light sources we know.
Interesting. Okay, so light appears. Then what?
Then God sees the light, and it says, it was good. That's the first time we hear that assessment, and it's a phrase that repeats.
We'll hear that again. All right.
Definitely. After seeing it's good, God separates the light from the darkness, establishes this basic duality.
Giving things definition.
Precisely. Names the light day, the darkness night. And that whole sequence, the creation of light, the separation, the naming that marks the end of the first day. It's framed as evening and morning.
Okay, day 1, done. Moving on to the second day, the focus seems to shift upwards.
That's right. Day 2 is about creating the vault, which is then called sky. God commands this division between the waters to separate water from water.
So like creating a space, waters above and waters below.
Exactly. Think of it as a firmament, an expanse. It creates that separation. We often understand this now as, the atmosphere.
Establishing the heavens in a way?
You could say that, yeah, structuring the heavens. And this vault gets named sky. And just like day 1, day 2 concludes with that evening and morning cycle.
Got it. Then day 3 arrives, and we seem to get more organization down on Earth dealing with all that water from the beginning.
Indeed. God commands the waters under the sky to gather into one place.
Ah, so the dry land can appear.
That's the one. Dry ground emerges. This is really the formation of land masses and seas.
And they get names, too.
They do. The dry ground is called land. The gathered waters are called seas.
And I bet we hear that phrase again.
You guessed it. After the land and seas appear, God saw that it was good.
It's like a stamp of approval at each stage.
It certainly reads that way. A kind of divine satisfaction, maybe setting a standard. But day 3 isn't done yet. After the land appears, God commands it to produce vegetation.
Okay, plants.
Yeah, seed-bearing plants, fruit trees, crucially, each according to its kind.
According to its kind. That phrase sounds important.
It really emphasizes the idea of inherent order and diversity right from the start. Different types, each reproducing after its own nature.
And does the land just do it?
The text says the land produced vegetation, seemingly immediately in response to the command, and then, once again...
God saw that it was good.
Exactly. That wraps up the third day.
Right, day 4. Now, you mentioned earlier that the sun and moon come later. This is where they fit in.
This is it. Day 4 revisits the heavens, the sky created on day 2. God commands, let there be lights in the vault of the sky.
And these lights have specific jobs.
Multiple jobs, actually, to separate day from night, importantly, but also to serve as signs to mark sacred times and days and years, and of course to give light on the earth.
So light itself existed from day 1, but the sources we see, the sun and moon, they come now on day 4. Any thoughts on why that order?
It's one of the big discussion points, isn't it? It really makes you think about the nature of that first light. Maybe it suggests that the fundamental principle of light-darkness, day-night, that order had to be established before the specific celestial bodies that govern it were put in place. Just a thought.
Plausible. So the sun, moon, and stars are made.
Yeah, the two great lights, the greater one, obviously the sun to govern the day, the lesser one, the moon for the night, and it mentions the stars too.
And the verdict.
You know it. God saw that it was good. End of day 4.
Okay, day 5. Life starts appearing now, right? But in the water and air first.
Precisely. The focus shifts. God commands the waters to teem with living creatures.
Team. Sounds like a lot of life.
It does, and also for birds to fly across the sky. So this is the creation of all the aquatic life and the winged birds, again, according to their kinds.
That phrase again, showing the variety.
The diversity within those realms. And something new happens on this day, too. A blessing.
Yes. What's the blessing?
God blesses these creatures, saying, "Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the water in the seas and let the birds increase on the earth."
So an encouragement for life to flourish, to multiply.
Exactly. It's the first direct blessing mentioned in the narrative. And following the pattern, God saw that it was good. That closes out day 5.
Which brings us to the 6th day. This feels like a big one. Land, animals, and humans.
It's the culmination, definitely. First, God commands the land, the earth, to bring forth living creatures, again, according to their kinds.
What kinds does it specify?
It lists livestock, creatures that move along the ground, creeping things and wild animals.
So the whole spectrum of land animals.
Seems like it. And the text confirms God made these animals, each according to its kind. And yes, God saw that it was good.
Okay. And then comes the creation of humankind. This feels distinct, doesn't it? How is it described?
It really does feel distinct. The language shifts. God says, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness."
Us, our otter. That's different from let there be.
It is. That plural us has generated centuries of theological discussion, as you can imagine. And there's a purpose stated right away, so that humankind can rule over the fish, the birds, the livestock, all the creatures, that's the word often used, and the act itself. The text says, "So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them."
In his own image, male and female. That sets humans apart.
Absolutely. It establishes this unique relationship, this connection to the divine, unlike any other part of creation mentioned so far.
And after creating humans, there's another blessing, right?
Right.
And instructions.
Yes, God blesses them, echoing the blessing for the sea creatures and birds. "Be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it." And then adds that explicit instruction to rule over all the other living creatures.
Subdue it, rule over it. And what about food?
God specifies that too. Seed-bearing plants and fruit from trees are given to humans for food.
Okay.
And then it adds that all the green plants are given as food for all the beasts of the earth and birds and creeping things.
So a vegetarian diet initially for everyone.
That's how it reads here in chapter 1, yeah.
Fascinating. Okay, so that's the end of the creative acts on day 6. How does the chapter wrap up?
With a final grand assessment. After everything is made, humans included, God saw all that he had made, and it was very good.
Not just good, but very good.
Exactly. It's an emphasis on the completion, the harmony, the wholeness of the entire creation. It's a step above the assessment of the individual parts. And that pronouncement marks the completion of the 6th day, and thus the completion of the creation account in this chapter.
Wow. Okay, so just to quickly recap that incredible sequence, we went from formless and empty
With the spirit hovering.
to light, appearing by divine word, then the sky separating the waters,
Then land and seas forming, followed quickly by vegetation, all good.
then the sun, moon, stars on day 4, also good.
Day 5 brings teeming life to the waters and skies, blessed to be fruitful and deemed good.
And finally, day 6, land animals and the unique creation of humankind in God's image, given dominion, all culminating in that final assessment.
Very good.
It's such a structured, deliberate narrative. The repetition of God said it was so, God saw that it was good, and evening and morning really gives it a powerful rhythm.
It does. It conveys this sense of order emerging powerfully from chaos, driven entirely by divine speech and will, and establishing a clear hierarchy with humankind in a very particular role.
It really gives you a lot to think about. You know, reflecting on this account, what does it suggest about how we should view our relationship with the natural world, especially with that instruction to subdue and rule? That's something people interpret very differently today.
Huge implications, definitely.
And for you listening, what does that phrase, "in the image of God," actually mean to you? How does this ancient story resonate or maybe challenge you when thinking about where everything came from and our place in it all?
Profound questions to carry away.
Indeed. Well, thanks for digging into this foundational text with us.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us on this deep dive.